Hello, today we are going to learn about how sound is made. We are going to talk about what makes sound, and then we're going to learn about some different things that we can make that are instruments that you get to make yourself. The objectives for this lesson are that the student will be able to understand how sounds can change, and the student will be able to um, explain how or what sound is, or be able to describe that. And the student will be able to make an instrument that produces sound. For the assessment, I will be assessing you on if you're able to understand how you can change the sound and how vibrations work. And I will also assess based off of the instrument that you're able to make and whether it is able to produce a sound. Um, so we are going to watch a video to start explaining what sound is and how that is made. So I'm going to show you here. I do not know how to make a screen on the screen, so this is how we're going to do it. So here's the video that explains what sound is.
Cover your eyes for a moment and just listen. What do you hear? I hear my chemistry set bubbling and squeaks. Is that you? Sounds are all around us all the time. There's so many of them, and we call sounds by a lot of different names. Like if a sound is really loud and kind of unpleasant, like when there's a lot of traffic going by, we sometimes call it noise. And if a sound is made by an instrument like a piano or a ukulele, we call it a note. And we call lots of notes together music. And some words are kind of like the sounds themselves. Like when fireworks go boom, popcorn pops, and bells go ding-a-ling. It doesn't matter what makes a sound though. All sounds are made the same way, through vibrations. When something vibrates, it moves back and forth really fast. So fast, in fact, that our eyes often can't see it moving. But other parts of our body can sense vibrations. And I bet you know what parts those are. That's right, our ears. So how does sound get from, say, a bell to our ears? The air all around us is made of tiny particles, and these particles are what carry sound. We can use marbles to demonstrate the teeny tiny particles that make up the air. Let's see how. If we put a few marbles together so they're touching, then roll another marble so that it crashes into them, the group of marbles will move. That's kind of what happens with sound. When we ring a bell, we cause the metal that makes up the bell to vibrate really fast back and forth. And the vibration of the bell also shakes up the particles that make up the air around it and makes them vibrate. Then those particles run into the air particles next to them, and so on. You can also think about it like dominoes, with the vibration getting passed along from one bunch of particles in the air to the next. We call this path of vibration a wave. Now, how do we hear those vibrations? If we could look deep inside our ears, we'd see a special little part that kind of looks like the top of a drum. When sound waves make it all the way to and into our ears, they make this part of our ear vibrate. The vibrations keep going, moving even deeper into our ear until they finally get to the spot that sends a message to our brain. And that message says, hey, we're hearing something. Now, who's ready to make some vibrations? We can make a kind of musical instrument that will help us to see the vibrations that we make. All we need is an empty can, like a coffee can, and a rubber band that's just big enough to stretch around the can from its top to its bottom. Stretch the rubber band over the top of the coffee can, and ta-da! We have an instrument, one that's kind of like a guitar. Let's pluck the rubber band gently. Does it make a sound? It sure does. And if we look very, very closely, we can see that the rubber band is moving back and forth. When we pull on the rubber band and let it go, we're causing it to vibrate. These vibrations travel into the air, making the air particles move through the air to our ears in a sound wave. If we pull kind of gently, the sound is kind of soft. But if we pull a little harder, the sound gets louder. And if we grab the rubber band while it's moving and stop it from vibrating, we also stop the sound. Hey, we made some pretty good vibrations. So whenever you hear a sound, you know that something, somewhere, is vibrating. And those vibrations are traveling through the air and into your ears. So thanks to all of you who asked us how sound works. And make sure to check back every week to learn more science with Squeaks and me. Oh,
All right, so that is a great video that kind of explains how sound is made and kind of shows us what we're going to be doing later as well. Um, I really appreciate in that video how she is able to show how the ear works and how that whole process is. So I'm going to ask some questions and you guys are going to answer them for me. So, what is sound? All right. How is sound produced? And then lastly is how do we hear sound? Great. All right. So in that video, we learned about how sound is made, how we hear sound, an instrument that we can make that creates sound, and all that as well. So I'm going to show you how when you hum, even with your lips, you're making a vibration, which is a sound. So if you go, do you feel your lips vibrate? You guys do it and tell me. Can you feel your lips vibrate? Mm, how does that feel on your lips? Does it tickle? That tickling feeling that you're feeling is actually vibration. So the fun part is I have some materials prepared and I'm going to have you create an instrument that will produce sound by vibration. So I have made a couple examples myself, so I'm going to share those with you guys. Um, First I made a little guitar, which is super easy. All it is a cardboard box and some rubber bands. And you can listen for the vibration. You ready? Do you hear that? And you could do different size rubber bands. You could do a different thing than just cardboard. You could use tighter rubber bands or looser rubber bands. There's a lot of ways to customize this. And so this is one option that you guys could make today as an instrument. Another one that I have is oh, it's right here. Okay, this one is my favorite. Um, it's a really fun one. It's very simple to make. So this one is a homemade harmonica. Do you hear the vibration in there? So this one is just popsicle sticks, some cardstock, and some rubber bands. And it is a very cool instrument. I think it's really fun to play with. You can do a bunch of different stuff with it. No, it's not working. There we go. I messed it up. Hold on, sorry about that. This is the joy of teaching. You get to learn by mistake sometimes of how you can fix things to make them better as well. So this is something that I get to learn as well. All right, here we go. I had it working the first time and now I can't get it to work. I just showed you guys that it works and now I can't. So let's see here. Let me try it again. There we go. Got it to work again. It's something that you kind of have to keep playing with. Um, you kind of have to keep moving it and kind of adjust it to make it work, but it's one of those things that's really cool and something that does take some fine tuning, which is kind of a fun little thing to make. So I really enjoy this one. So with that being said, you guys are going to build your instruments. You guys are more than welcome to work by yourself or as a group. If you are making the harmonica, I would suggest that you work by yourself. Uh, but any of the other instruments you can make as a group. You guys will only have 5 minutes to make your instrument. So you got to be thinking right now what exactly you're going to do and how you're going to do that. So it's going to be a little tricky. Out over on the table, I have a bunch of materials ready for you guys, and you guys are going to be able to make those. When you're done making your instruments, we're all going to come back together and you guys are going to share your instrument and show the sound that it makes with the vibrations. So I have some pictures of some options that you guys could make. So I have a guitar, the harmonica, just some containers with rubber bands on it, and you can play with the different size rubber bands and the different ways of putting the rubber bands on there. And then this one right here is just a cup with a couple rubber bands on it, kind of like they did in that video. So I will be able to walk around and help you guys as you're building your instruments and kind of see what your guys' ideas are and um, what you guys are going to make. And if we are taking 5 minutes and it's not quite done, we will adjust to that and allow more time to finish if we need to. So I am excited to see what you guys make and see what kind of vibrations you guys can create to make some noise. Thanks.